And here we are once again. Welcome to the Cairne Legacy. This is going to be Chapter 1, The Lost Caverns of Nether's Deep, our new chapter. Welcome back, everyone, especially my lovely players, whom I adore. So we're going to do a real quick recap, since we had a ghosted player last time especially. Would anyone care to? You want me to just blow through it?
You hit it. You hit it. It's best to have the accuracy for this one.
Hopefully I'm accurate. All right,
the
well,
DM is accurate by just force of will.
Force of will. Well, I said the important part was we made it back through the wastelands, back to the benevolent headquarters, as you remember, where you discovered that the Culvark had come through with the Voidwalker infection and had actively and intentionally infected the benevolence that ran the order. And that's kind of where we left off, was through Genesis's empathy. We were able to pull you out of your downward spiral where you were almost about to stay there. So the group en masse, taking the Phoenix, the Ant, and everything along with them, chased the Culvark down into the crypts below. Fought their way through a number of Voidwalkers and a number of League of Steam assassins who had broken through the wall and into a tunnel that led to a drop down even deeper into the caverns below. They fought their way through successfully. No one got infected. Darn it. We went down the drop through, fought some more assassins, went up into an ancient hallway from there, which opened up into the room you should be able to see now. Floating in the midst of a large, murky, black, churning water was a large submersible craft in this ancient room. There's also a number of supplies stacked about here and there, some old mostly, but still some usable, and no sign of any further League of Steam assassins aside from the two Culvarked corpses you found in the room, who had apparently killed one another. And that's pretty much it in a nutshell, unless I'm forgetting anything.
Just two important details. We did fish out the usable supplies from the spoiled ones, and as we entered down into the crypt from the benevolent outpost, we heard blaze of fire up ahead. So they did indeed set the town on fire.
Yes, the benevolence did torch the place.
And Moonshine joined us.
Oh yes, Slatra. That's a big deal. Sorry.
Critical.
Slatra actually was engaged with the League of Steam Assassins and the Voidwalkers, and kind of ran to where you guys were, like, and was like, "Oh, hey, enemy of my enemy."
I don't know you, but you're not pointing guns at me, so
exactly. And this
Even
is
if we were with an imperialist.
Yes. Slatra picked you out pretty quick as the imperialist pig dog.
We're not friends.
Not yet.
Hey.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Fill it with the name calling, please.
I will say that I did have Wilhelm murder a couple people.
Yeah.
Whoops.
But I think that was anger.
Kaz appreciated that.
It was anger. He does have a firearm.
We can retcon that if necessary.
Yeah, if that's horrible for you, I don't mind retconning.
I wasn't actually going to kill anyone. I probably would not have actually hurt anyone.
Okay.
Well, I would have been angry, and but he would have won out. Even he would not have actually caused violence.
All right. Well, we'll just say he knocked them unconscious, and the rest of the team killed them.
Yeah.
Probably would have done puppy dog eyes to Genesis. Genesis, please.
Why are you looking at me? Why are you looking at me? Have you been staring intently at my mini? I mean, there's no other way you would know, right? Right?
So, but yeah, in a nutshell, that's where we left off. You guys were basically in the. Well, I guess it's not a dry dock, is it? It's a wet dock.
Mhm.
Gathered the supplies and were preparing to, I assume, board the craft. So that's where we were. We'll pick up there.
With reticence.
Yes. Indeed. So, now you guys had intentionally not boarded because you wanted to talk out that whole procedure.
Well, we wanted to do some role play in general because where we had intended to leave off was us walking into the room and beholding Niorti.
Yes. So yeah, you guys take it away.
All right, I'm loading up the carrier ant with the Is it Archibald? I'm loading up Archibald with the food that I can find from the piles that we've already mentioned.
Okay.
Rations.
That works.
I gotta find where I wrote down how much that was, but
Yes, Uki had picked up several weeks worth.
Several weeks worth.
I say that I don't know if it's like 3 or 5. I think it was like 3. And I don't know, but that was from the kitchens before he came down in this area or the garden.
There was a chest.
Okay.
And there was stuff down here, yeah.
Okay, the list is incoming in my notes, so I just never got it.
Okay, that's all good.
Listeners making a slow circle of the Orti, as such a device has never been seen by the collective, and given our luck, may never be seen again.
Yeah. Well, you're hearing a collective.
If you have a chance to send me that list of stuff I found in the chest, then I can put it in my notes. Do I need to know what's in there?
I think we went through that, didn't we?
Next session open on the RP entering the ship. We leveled. Next session is going to be RP heavy, little chance of combat unless we're infighting. Saoirse starts bonding with her mount Wind. And that's all I got. So we didn't. But, you know, maybe there's an attachment that I missed.
Well, that's all right. Basically, all you're going to find within the chest is a lot of nautical supplies. You're going to find a lot of fish and tackle. The most important things that you're going to find are 2 of the crates are filled with deep diving equipment. Including hoses that are intended to run to either the Orti or potentially some other external tank, maybe, that could be used for breathing. So I'm not really sure yet, because this is foreign technology to most of you.
2 crates full of it, but okay, I'd have to like go through it and assemble it to find out how many sets there are. If there,
well, for you, Genesis, like this is it's a little bit overwhelming because the technology is beyond you. Like you've never seen anything like this. You're like, why would somebody put a bunch of gears and stuff on their shirt, dummy? God.
They don't actually do anything. Put gears inside a machine that does things, not on your clothes. You imbecile.
Right. So, as a rather long-lived dwarf, have I ever seen anything like this?
You've never seen anything like this. However, if you want to try a history roll, you may have heard of it.
Well, oh God. Okay. Let us see.
I assist by starting to quote the Gettysburg Address. It's I insist, but I'm quoting it wrong because I don't have that high a history. I'm not proficient in it, so I just start with like 7 years ago, our forefathers put upon this continent a new nation, and then I'm like, ooh.
Nice. I'm sure that's very helpful for.
Yeah,
Look,
you got
Kaz.
this, dude.
5 days and 4 3 throws. What?
All right, let's see.
There's a lot
Bring
So-
some of that Casey luck.
So I'm getting an assist, right?
Well, no, I can't really assist on this one.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
I know. I'm just
Oh,
doing
good
it.
shit.
I'm
I
so
know,
sorry.
I know
Ouch.
everything there is to know about this.
Oh no, we're gonna die.
It is literally a sea nettle. This is a plant.
I think it's my uncle.
Wow.
So no, you've never heard of this thing before. I will say that Wilhelm.
Do I know?
Well, you don't know what this thing is. You can guess based upon your knowledge that it is a submersible craft. It is most likely a steam-driven device, and the suits that you can see Genesis kind of puzzling over, you can tell what they are, what their purpose is.
Can I try to roll for that? Since I probably can't do worse.
What?
The
History?
yeah.
Yeah, it would be at a disadvantage, but yes, you may.
Okay. Disadvantage is checked, and here we go.
I literally don't think anyone could do worse than what I
Don't
did.
do it. Don't do it.
12?
Oh, it's a 12. Yay.
You've heard those crazy Bechlerites and the Culvart have been doing all kinds of weird devices to go places they're not supposed to.
Since I've been walking around it and knowing things is the collective special interest.
So do it.
Shall I?
Go for it.
Actually, if I may interject, I do believe that last session we were able to hear what this is because Saoirse got very excited because she was thinking that whatever this thing was, that it would help us get to the domes of the Shining Eyes.
Oh yeah, no, you guys definitely figured out that it's a submersible craft. I think the thing that at least that I'm assuming people are puzzling over is the suits.
Yeah, just because I've seen the ship. I have questions because if I think that the Bechlerites and the Colvart are making suits to go places they shouldn't, what do the Fuvenians think of this, or Foivenians?
The Fovenians are not as technologically advanced. Go listener.
Jeez.
Wow.
Listener's got it pegged.
His loop has made it around to that side of the ship, and he looks at you guys kind of holding them up. He connects over to your mind and says, I believe that one will fit me.
I start doing crab hands and walking side to side, and then I send listener the song Under the Sea from The Little Mermaid.
No.
He's the only one who gets the joke.
Oh. All right.
The depths pose many dangers, blighted as they are.
Yeah. Dookie's looking at this with a bit of, let's just say a little bit of wariness going. That doesn't look like any boat I've ever seen. And how will it leave here?
It will go under.
Under and then out very quickly, yes?
I suspect it will stay under. It is built. You observe the top side so that the interior air is retained if you are down upon the bottom of the sea.
Oh my.
Sounds unnatural to me.
Yes, to me as well.
Yeah. Just to point out, too, where you're located and Abattoir, there's a little distance between
It's a ways to the sea.
Yeah.
The good thing is it would be an easy and safe way to get to the domes of the Shining Eyes. So that way we won't have to face all of the dangers overland. I know the sea would carry its own dangers with the waters being so blighted, but we would be safe in this submersible craft.
Ugh, every time the Shining Eyes are mentioned, Kaz just shivers.
Okay, no one say floaty casket. No one say it.
Nope. Not even going to think it.
No. Okay.
But I do sit down and start querying the collective because that does what you've said. Let's say listener actually does think that. He starts asking, is there an underground river through this blighted desert? To the collective.
They have no knowledge of what lies below here.
He registers it as an inquiry that will shortly be resolved.
Yeah, they are very curious to find out not only what is below, but what is inside and how this works, and if it could be utilized for further gains of knowledge.
I'm imagining a seaweed variant of the Oum.
Aquatic Oum. Well, I mean, if the water wasn't poisoned. It might be scary.
You know, that's why you need the submersibles.
True. This is true.
Well, we heard the town above being scorched by the benevolence behind us, so I think getting into the submersible and finding out, and it's going to be our only way out of here.
And just to point out that the horde is making its way down here.
Let's go.
Oops.
Well, Uki says, I feel that as nervous as I am about this, I feel that there's a way out, that we can live another day for another fight and go further on this journey. Then I will do my best to marshal on. I can't even find it.
Right. So
she's just like not
I've
sure
already
because
walked past you.
she's young. Because of her age, she's young and such that she doesn't really know whether it's possible that submersibles could have been used in the military, but she's not had that experience.
And I'm just going to point out, especially to those of you with empathy, since there are more than a couple of you that actively have empathic natures, Uki's nervous. Like, and this is uncharacteristic. Like, Uki stared down The Walking Dead like it was nothing. It was just another day at the office. And it wasn't until this moment that anything remotely close to fear is registered in Uki. So, just so you're aware.
I don't really do empathy too well. Please give me a hard challenge of some kind to register this.
You know, just do a perception check.
All right.
Okay, yeah, you don't entirely understand it, but there is a behavioral shift in Uki that is uncharacteristic, and you can tell that it's associated with some degree of trepidation about entering into the Orti.
This is all very new to listener. He's still working on this whole bit, but
Uncomfortable backpack.
Actually, at this time, I would like to use one of my airworms and my empathetic performance, and I would like to put a calm and reassuring song onto Uki.
Okay.
Make her feel better.
All right.
Are we all empathetic?
There's a great deal of it.
A few too many.
You have two Shanakesians in the group.
Hmm.
Two Shanakesian musicians.
A little busy with the animals, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, listener's not too great
In
at
the
this, but he
group.
does offer you his hand.
In the group? Really? Not too sure.
One pure empath.
Yeah.
But I will say, Uki, as Saoirse, she begins to play a soothing melody, an old song. There's something familiar about it, like it on the edge of your mind. It's almost like some part of you remembers your mother singing this to you as a baby, as a lullaby, and it calms you. You feel it run through you, and you feel a little hopeful, like you can do this. You're still a little nervous, but it's nowhere near as bad as it was.
So at this time, Uki's going to say, "All right, you got this, soldier." And she picks up the rations that she had taken to and takes one step hesitantly, and then the next to go onto into the submersible to put in the food rations, which was 4 weeks for one person, is what I had in my notes.
Okay, good.
Yeah, and that was from the garden. Yeah.
Kaz is trying to figure out how to open the door already. He's been having a couple of thoughts in his head.
All right. Well, and I will say there's a boarding ramp here on the back, and
that makes sense.
This line is actually a little wider than it should be, or it shows, and it's a walkway that leads to a hatch door here with one of those locking wheels that you turn to open the hatch into the glass dome there. You assume it's glass.
Yeah, he suddenly had this thought about those domes of shining eyes, and he's just thinking, if Saoirse's right, then he could literally be the first dwarf to enter the domes of the shining eyes, like since the devastation.
You're not wrong.
So he's thinking, it could be a good thing,
Definitely. Not to mention, who knows what lies beneath here.
And he does remember like talk of that those domes were kind of mining colonies. So I mean, there is a lot of riches to be had there.
Tremendous riches. Some might even
Come on,
say
guys, we're getting on board already.
That's all it took. So is everyone following suit, or is anyone still wary?
I mean, Saoirse will board. She's like excited because it's like one step closer to fulfilling the somnambulist prophecy for her. She's just going to like sort of reach out her hand and do a gentle rub on Uki's back as she passes her, and then follow behind.
Okay.
Yeah, and Uki's also going to reach out and actually just touch one of the, do you say phoenix?
The phoenix, yeah.
Yeah, one of the phoenix. Because for her, animals, animals are something that she, also encountered quite a bit, and she's kind of bonded a little bit around these animals, and doesn't talk about it. But that, and just touching the fur and just lightly stroking kind of helps to calm her as well.
Okay, that's no problem.
Can I say that you're petting Earth, who is ironically the slowest Finnick?
Yeah,
that works.
Yeah, I'm hesitant just because it's the this is Genesis. This is for Genesis. Family, but I've started to develop this bond to them. So you probably see me do this,
Earth looks at you with sleepy eyes because he's coincidentally the Finnick that the listener rides, which is why it's so funny that he's the slowest one. And he just kind of looks over at you and blinks, and then he looks back at me and blinks again slowly, and he's like, "All right, cool."
Awesome. So is anyone not getting on? Let's just say that.
Before we do, where is Slatra at?
She's right.
Slatra is following the animals.
She's right there.
Yeah. She's just too busy petting animals at the moment.
Animal time is very exciting.
And
That's good. If you don't seem hesitant, listener won't really be doing anything.
So is everyone getting on then? Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, and I guess I would say that part of it too is that the Hyverstedians also, animals aren't just, they are companions as well for them, because they do spend, quite a bit of time with them.
Yeah.
And that they're of great value, but not necessarily just as an asset, but as, is considered part of, their movement, their unit, their family.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. So you guys should be able to see the change now.
Yes.
We're to the map of the RT itself.
Yes.
The top one is actually you see the walkway you came across to the hatch. All right. To allow entry. So you guys should have access to your tokens and everything. Place things where you want. On that second level, this, once again, just so you know, that I'm pinging right here, is the medical bay. Just so you're aware. This is the kitchen and galley, dining hall, and the 4 rooms at the bottom are quarters, sleeping quarters. The one on the left would have been a captain's quarter, captain and first mate. So the bed's slightly fancier.
All right.
Just so you know.
That's the helm up on the top floor?
The helm, yes, is up on the top floor. Navigation is on the bottom.
Right. I have a very important question for you, Church.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any spirits aboard the RT?
Yes.
Yes. We're in there. Tell me about them.
There is one spirit. He is currently sitting at the desk on the lower deck, poring over the book that lays open on it now.
And I just so happened to already be down there. Nice.
All right, we'll come back around to that and let everybody do some stuff before I start doing that.
Yeah, you're good.
I'm just down there like, Bill Nye, the Science Guy. Bill.
So now you will notice that the grate that would normally be used to cover the moon pool is damaged. It's not allowing water in. It's a moon pool, but it is not sealed, just so you're aware.
We got a good guard dog.
Yeah, Jeff is down there. So is
Jeff is guarding it.
I think Yuki is going to actually, once she's taken a look around to see a little bit of what's going on, may go to the med bay, because I believe she sustained a bit of an injury.
Yes.
And she definitely needs like a rest to regain back her steady aim, but then also, she did take quite a bit of damage.
Yeah. Wilhelm is already there with you, so if you would like to treat her wounds, I believe your wounds were results of one of the Voidwalkers detonating, if I remember correctly.
Oh, yes, that's correct. That's correct.
But you did not get infected. We did already check for that.
Yeah. I had a little bit of damage from that as well.
Yeah. So that's a void burn, basically.
Yes. So Uki says to Wilhelm, anything you can do for me would be greatly appreciated.
Oddly enough, Kaz is less worried about his burns. He's like, he'll heal.
Old grizzled dwarven vet.
Yeah, but he is in the captain's quarters, checking it out, seeing if there's like a desk drawer and having a good rummage.
Okay. Not a lot, really, as far as valuables. There's a very nice flintlock pistol.
Interesting.
And when I say nice, I mean it's engraved, and a lot of brass filigree and whatnot.
I might, show it to Uki in a little while.
Okay.
Yeah, I will treat.
Okay, so you start treating. Okay, go ahead. What are you using to treat? Is it just the medicine roll?
I believe a poultice.
Okay.
Would that be the appropriate? It's burns by
Yeah.
like fire, friction, and poison.
Yeah, no, that'll be fine.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna use that.
Okay. Would you like
My poultice.
to roll for the effect? As far as how much it feels. Okay.
2 plus 4, everything.
How much was it? Overall?
4.
4? Okay.
Double checking. Thought there was a third thing that helped as well. Oh, that was my paradigm. That's what I meant.
Okay. So is it 4?
Double checking. I think it's actually 5. I think it's
5
plus 3 to whatever I roll. Yeah.
Okay, no, that's fine. All right, so he applies a poultice to the scorched parts of your skin. It's a nasty burn. It hurts. Even the poultice is being put on it hurts. But he does make sure it's clean, wrapped, poulticed. A good long rest would probably do you well.
Actually, it's 6.
6.
I have a plus 4.
Okay, no, that's even better. So yeah, 6 points. Heal back 6 points, and then, like I said, a long rest would do you well. You can get another couple hit points off a long rest.
Okay. I think I will. I think at this point I may actually go ahead and at least see if I can lay down for a little bit. At least for a short rest. Simply because even with the clean bandages and such, I've seen some bad wounds that, tend to fester and get pretty rough. So I feel it's a good time to just rest up a little bit.
Yeah, you're in good care. So sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No. I think also I think right now I'm just also feeling a bit lulled because of Prim's because of the song as well. So Uki's going, I'm not really wanting to go anywhere. I think I'll just lay down for a moment.
Yeah, that'll help.
You're on the bed already. When I was treating you, you were already on a cot, so you could just go to sleep.
Yeah.
Will help. he puts I put a dose of psychotropic for you next to you. If you start feeling unease, this will help you. You are welcome to stay here and chat with me if you would like.
Nice.
Thank you. You've been extremely helpful.
All right. So,
but I am here.
Wilhelm, you do have a working lab in this room. So if you do want to start what you were talking about as far as research while Uki rests, you have the space and equipment in this room to do so.
I have so much to do. There's a couple items I want that are already established alchemy items. The misting hand mortar and the base bomb. But okay. I would also like to try working on seeing if I can come up with both of those items we talked about.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's start with what you know first. Okay. How many items you want?
Let's do one of each, and then move on to the theoretical, and then time remaining go back to the originals.
Okay. All right, so we'll say, yeah, you just keep working on that uninterrupted, and you should be able to achieve it. At least the basics. You know what I mean? The alchemy stuff that you know for sure, we can get that done more or less over the course of the day.
Yeah.
It's a pretty well-stocked lab. So while you're working on that, Kaz, you're still rifling around?
Yeah, looking for any kind of like logbook or anything like that that the captain might have been writing down information. So
Yeah, not in his quarters.
Oh.
What about the rest of you?
Well, I am downstairs with Genesis and Listener, and I would kind of wonder, like, how in the world do you even start this thing? Because Saoirse's like, she's ready, she's raring to go. Like, let's get to the domes of the shining eyes. So,
well,
she would be like,
me.
Saoirse's asking the big
Easy.
questions. Saoirse's asking the big questions right now.
I'm looking through the book like, such a, I don't understand any of this. Flip the page.
It looks like an engineering manual.
Okay. Can I roll to see if I know any of that?
You can make an intelligence check, although you're not educated.
Yeah, I'm just smart.
So yeah, it would be at a disadvantage. This is very complex, high-tech information.
In response to Saoirse, I do not know, but this one might. And he reaches out to the spirit.
Let's go!
Okay, so you're talking to the spirit of the guy?
Oh!
Indeed.
It's a book!
Yeah, I don't know.
It has worked.
Oh, you're invocating. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Let's do this. Is there a key? Is there an ignition? Is there a start button? Let's power it up.
Oh, wow.
I put the book back on the desk. I'm like, this is useless.
So, I tell you what, convince him. Give me a verbal convincing. He's a little neutral.
Okay. Tell me about him before I try to convince him. What's he look like? He was poring over the book. Does he look like a captain or an engineer of this vessel?
It's hard to say. He's an older man with a well-trimmed beard, short cropped hair that he keeps very well maintained from the look of it, or at least did. He is wearing a front-brimmed hat and a uniform. You don't really recognize any of the insignias or motifs on it. It must be very old. He looks very studious.
Okay. I will use the trick that would work on engineer and captain both.
Okay.
And really, it's a little too slick for listener, but it's also exactly what he would say. I wish to ask you about your vessel. It is impossible to get a ship person to stop talking about their ship.
He perks up and looks at you and kind of looks you up and down and says, of course no one else can hear this, but he says, "You're a strange one. How'd you get aboard?"
I may not have yet existed when last you pulled this vessel into dock, but we, he gestures around, walked aboard. It has sat here many years, it seems.
Wow. Well, if you've got an ear, I've got a willing tongue. Let's sit down for a chin wag. And that succeeds in your invocation.
He is now within, and I'll just keep conversing with him for a moment before I try and do anything in particular.
So he's very curious about technology and maritime craft and shocked to hear that the seas are poisoned and there's not a lot of sailing these days. But fascinated by the concept of airships. This was cutting edge. This was a top secret prototype of the Bechtelrite Empire.
Listener will gladly feed him this information because, information exchange is one of his key things, but he always kind of single-mindedly brings it back around to the function of this craft, the Orti.
All right. So I will say, now he'll chat your ear off, obviously, all day. He's been down here for a long time by himself. He was the engineer of the ship. Something happened. He doesn't remember what. Something came up through the moon pool, and he was the only one down here at the time. It was like a giant black shadow just burst through, and the next thing he knew, he was sitting at his desk where you found him, and he's been there ever since. No real concept of time.
With something of a sense of urgency, given the hordes are coming this way, listener tells him, "Such creatures roam the lands now. They bear down upon the vessel from the land as well. Tell me, do you believe it could still make way?"
Well, she's seaworthy.
How would we? If you do not mind assisting us, you may use this appendage, if you wish.
Sorry, I almost channeled Mike for a second there.
What does this button do?
Let me drive. So
nothing.
So,
what about this one is wiggly.
Yeah, you're working with the navigational controls. They don't really do a lot.
Yeah. Doing this, if the guy seems willing, listener connects up to just anybody in the room. It looks like Genesis and Saoirse, and is that Slotcher over by the Phoenix?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so everybody here gets a warning that he's about to let the engineer operate the appendage.
I salute you with the wrong hand. Let's go.
Saoirse nods, eyes wide, like she's ready, like she wants to witness this.
All right.
She's curious.
So as he takes... Oh, sorry, go ahead. What was Slotcher doing?
Slotcher is just still enamored with animals. So.
Oh, okay.
To
nice
you,
and cozy.
in fact, he actually offers like a small explanation because you don't really know his shtick yet. He warns you that somebody else will be in control of the appendage for a little while, a dead man, and it is nothing to be concerned about.
Nothing. So the first thing he does is he comes to the navigational area. These aren't really navigational controls. They're for plotting courses. It's a very complex piece of machinery, but he makes some adjustments and basically explains to you that based on what you've told him, he doesn't know what to expect down here. So he's going to move everything to a manual control scheme. So he switches some gears, flips some levers, hits a few buttons, and the whole device like spirographs around a few times, changing the color scheme.
Oh, that's so cool. I'm watching him intently trying to turn his gestures into a dance later. It's fine. It's a whole other thing.
He comes over here and checks these tanks, explaining to you that these are oxygen.
Listener makes careful, not note exactly because he can't write them down, but he pays very close attention knowing that the invocation has limited time and he may need to pilot and explain these things himself later.
Okay. So he basically goes through and checks the gauges on each one of these tanks. 3 of them are full. The 4th one is half full. He explains that this is actually very good. You have enough oxygen for a good month of travel, provided nothing goes wrong.
Month of travel. How long are we going to be down here?
It's a good question. So, these are the boilers, he explains. He tells you once they get stoked, don't let them get cold, especially quickly. If cold water hits them, that they will most likely crack or explode. Luckily, he's just telling you this.
Of course. A listener doesn't panic easily.
And then he explains that this is the furnace. There's coal supplies on the bin over here. It should be still a fair decent amount of coal. He says you need to stoke the furnace to fire up the engines and get this thing moving, but somebody's going to need to helm it up top, visually, manually. He said he's not trained for that.
All right. Do we need to cast off at all? Is it... Shit, is it tied down? Don't even know if this thing anchors.
No, the helms person will actually drop it into the water.
Exciting.
Do you want to stoke the furnace?
Since this is going to probably be like a multi-person operation for a little while, before stoking the furnace, listener's going to go around and explain. Sorry, I was noting all that while I was sitting here.
No, you're good.
But he'll go back upstairs. Where's Wilhelm at? Wilhelm and Uki, I think.
Medbay.
All right, they're probably set for this, but Uki's resting, isn't she?
Yes.
Yes, and she's used to sleeping in, with her, in a military, setting, so she can sleep through anything.
All right. He looks in, intending to grab you both, but if he sees you resting, he'll let you rest, given that you're injured. So he'll grab Wilhelm and Kaz instead, I think.
All right.
She'd be more likely to be woken by quiet than she would by noise.
That's fair.
Listener is obscenely quiet. He's got 15-foot move speed.
All right.
Real patient.
So is the Spectre still with you?
He is. He's around an hour.
Okay. So as you come up, I assume you're coming up.
Yeah.
Let me move you. So you come up the stairs. He explains to you very briefly that these guns will fire underwater.
Oh.
They have a major kick, and if you don't time the shots correctly, it will throw the course off. So like if you fire both guns on one side, for instance, and don't counter with the other, you could potentially start drifting left. I'm going to use left and right for now because I know people get confused. Beyond that, he'll explain that this is your auxiliary oxygen. They're smaller tanks. You have about a day's worth of oxygen should the others fail. These are just gifts, just in case. There's your anchor.
Ah, I see.
Should you need to stop. And then, of course, the helm is up one more level. So, yeah, you're in control from there.
Beautiful. So, two Kaz and Wilhelm basically simultaneously thought as fancy like that. I have spoken with the spirit of this vessel's engineer. We may cast off if we perform the tasks correctly.
Okay.
Will you assist?
What do you want me to do?
One must helm, one must stoke the furnace, another should watch the boilers and check the vessel for damage as we leave.
Well, I guess I can stoke the furnace. I
That's
can do that.
It's a job you'd be familiar enough with doing.
Yeah. And I've got the upper body strength, so yeah.
Very well. As I still have the engineer, I will man the helm.
Okay. I believe Genesis is already up there.
Okay.
Perfect.
Hey, you're up here. I should be down there, right?
You're actually on the outside of the boat right now.
Oh, no.
Dangerous location.
Okay. I'm gonna be like, hey,
Yeah.
plant guy. I should be downstairs, right?
It's up to you.
Did you open up telepathy to listener this time?
I think I'd just say it this time, since you're not gonna, you're not a willing individual. I'm just gonna say it.
He's a perfectly willing individual. He's used to this.
Open to talking, but not to listening. Got it.
Well, no, you can communicate with him without it being invasive.
Okay. I'll just like, hey. So, what you doing?
Listener turns around. He's looking about. He says, "Oh, are you developing a thought stream? I believed that the fleshlings could not do this."
I just start giggling, and you hear like infinitely many giggles start to layer over that, and I just start like, who says I'm a normal fleshling?
Also fair.
Fascinating. Join I at the helm. We shall make way soon.
All right.
You don't need someone to navigate? Out of character?
Well, since the navigational equipment has no idea what's changed down here.
We're on manual mode.
Yeah,
we are on visual flight rules.
Going to have to manually navigate.
Okay,
So one more
manual
pair of
stuff is
eyes
up
looking
here.
out the big window is probably helpful.
So the manual stuff is upstairs, but the other stuff downstairs is not the same.
Yep. Downstairs is like a rudimentary clockwork nav system.
Okay.
Yeah. And I will say, the engineer will explain to you that this thing only goes about 21, 22 knots.
For underwater, that's fast as hell.
Well, remember, it crawls. It doesn't swim.
What kind of dwarf is Kaz?
Flavinian.
Flavinian? Okay.
Very dwarf.
Very.
Very
extra.
How do you say the Colvart?
Colvart. Yeah.
Colvart. Those are the ones who have the boiler.
Yeah, they're the ones that have the more advanced tech.
The League of Steam, and the advanced tech. Okay.
Yeah, that's them.
Okay.
Bunch of bloody nobodies.
All right, so Kaz, you're down on the. Are you going down to the?
Yeah.
All right, so you stoked a furnace before. I'm gonna give it to you. Like I said, this is the coal bin. There's a cart and barrel. It'll let you wheel it a good sizable amount of coal over. You can start feeding it in. Say about 15-20 minutes, you should have it stoked with your ability and strength.
Sounds good.
So the fires kick off. The smell of burning coal fills the room. It's a familiar smell for you. The gears begin to turn. You can hear machinery down below your feet start to grind and move and shift, and the entire craft shudders as it begins to power up. You hear the hiss of steam, and the oxygen begins to circulate through the craft.
Ooh.
So yeah, everybody kind of feels that. Even Uki's kind of, what? Yeah, quiet down.
Uki has a blanket.
Yeah.
She's just been. Wilhelm covered her.
Oh. So, Saoirse, where you're standing, those are actually 2 couches.
Yeah, I figured.
One of which has a lute on it, an old lute.
I did notice that. That's why I went up there.
There's also a bunch of empty bottles around it that immediately begin to fall over and kind of roll around as the craft shudders and begins to vibrate. And with that, you have a lever to drop the ship, and then the wheel to guide her.
Beautiful. I'll take a moment before dropping to familiarize myself with the controls.
Okay.
I'll watch, but when I came up from the lower level down here, I made a point of noting everything that was down here before.
Okay.
On like a run around the ship, so I can use my cognitive. What is it? Retrocognition.
Okay.
If I need to.
To remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's fine.
There's the skiffs. Yep. I don't know what they're called. I'm calling them GIFs for no reason.
Well, that's all right. That's all right. It's more important.
Yes, and the K is a J.
Okay. What's that, Snacks?
How long has it been since Uki's been resting? Has it been an hour yet?
It hasn't quite passed an hour yet.
Yeah, no worries.
So since the thing is moving and the animals are probably starting to get restless.
Yeah, they're a little skittish.
Slotch is gonna go ahead and move away from them because skittish animals are not safe.
Yeah.
She goes and finds herself in that boardroom up there.
Okay.
On the second level, pulls out a pack of cards and starts shuffling them.
Alrighty. That works. Nice. So everybody's kind of apprehensively preparing for their first underwater boat ride.
Ooh, so exciting. So what do I have here at the helm to move forward and back? Wheel is great for controlling your angle, but
okay. So you have a lever for forward and back. You have another lever for speed and the lack of just slowing a brake.
Reverse thrusters.
And you also have a small rack of various buttons. One of them, he explains to you, is basically an intercom. It's a series of pipes that go throughout the ship that you can actually use to issue out your voice to the entire ship, if you had one.
If I had one. That's fine. I have telepathy.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm here too. I mean.
Yes. Congratulations, you are now first mate.
Yeah.
Hey! Been promoted. What's up?
She's all, I want to talk.
First mate's traditional job, yelling at the crew.
So, beyond that, there is one button. He says, this is actually kind of important. This actually sounds the alarm. If anything goes wrong, it'll let everyone know. Just so you're aware.
Good to know. All right. Been ongoing discussion with Genesis internally as this progresses. We work out the various controls, and, well, time to drop them.
All right.
I hope that alarm sounds like Patrick going, wee woo, wee woo. Otherwise, they're not doing it right.
No, this one actually goes wee-a-boo, wee-a-boo over and over again.
Oh my god.
Even
Did somebody
better.
call for me?
So you
Honey?
so you pull the lever to drop the orty.
Yes, it's time.
All right. So you pull the lever. Once again, the entire craft shudders almost violently, and then for just a moment, everyone on board feels just a second of free fall, where you kind of lift up a little bit. You feel it in your stomach, and then you begin to just rapidly feel the craft sink.
I start crying
for
immediately.
those of you who are near any of the domes, which that second level of the domes, you can see the ones above and to the side. You see the black, murky water just come over it, whoosh, and everything gets plunged into darkness for just a moment. You are blind for a moment. And then the engineer pipes up and goes, here, and kind of uses your hand and reaches over and hits a button, and the lights begin to flicker on. Just click, 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 and then that slow filament fade as they come up online.
And everyone suddenly sees Jeff kind of dancing in front of the moon pool in excitement.
It's exciting.
I know he is smart enough to know what's going on. I have suspicions about that lizard.
Well, you know Jeff. He gets around.
Oh, is Genesis, are you like in arm's reach of listener?
No, I'm over here.
All right, just checking.
So is anybody else having any adverse reactions to suddenly being plunged under, a toxic ocean?
Saoirse is just like staring wide-eyed because it's like she feels safe in this ocean. So now that it's like, usually she's pretty skittish about this stuff, but considering that she's in an area where she knows she's safe, she just has ways of just observing and taking it all in. So she's just kind of like wide-eyed wonder, like staring out this front globe here, like on the second level.
All right. And it's a good view. There is some light pouring out, illuminating the waters. They are still very murky. Visibility is extremely limited, but there are a lot of lights coming off the Orti outside. So you do have some visibility.
Very good.
You are seeing something that arguably no living creature has seen in quite some time under the water.
Can I see something here? With the plunging falling sensation?
Mm-hmm.
Can I roll to see if empathy takes effect unwillingly?
Are you going to spike? Have a freak out, you mean?
I just want to see how bad it is.
Sure. I'll definitely allow that. Genesis freaks out and opens the hatch.
No. I don't think I know where the hatch is.
Let me out of here.
I guess that's a good thing at this point. I don't know.
No, same hatch you came through. You know where it is. It's right there.
Not good. Okay.
So basically, let's say this. Rather than an adverse push of empathy, okay, you're having an adverse absorption of empathy. So from below, all the nervousness, all the apprehension, all the fear, anxiety from your friends is pouring into you. and it's overwhelming. Like you feel like your knees are about to buckle from under you.
Would she also get Saoirse's like awe and wonder that she's feeling though?
Yes. Yeah, everything. You're getting all of it, including Jeff's happy dance, even. But it's overwhelming.
Oh, this is a lot. Okay.
Saoirse's going to go up top because she just has to see what Genesis thinks of this.
All right. So you climb up. Genesis is nearly in a fetal position.
Leaning one hand on the window, and it slowly slides down, making that sound as I curl up into a ball.
trying to tighten up that peace-bound mask so you don't have to feel anything.
As you arrive from listener. Excellent. Please, the first mate is indisposed, and I cannot leave the helm.
Genesis, are you okay?
If your aunt is there, he's grooming you.
He's downstairs, unfortunately. Yeah, he's grooming the Phoenix right now.
I'm going to come up and do the same thing like I did with Uki, just empathetic performance, something to calm Genesis down and make her happy.
Okay. Genesis, that will actually work. Saoirse's little lullaby comes through, softly, calming, washing over you, slowing your thoughts.
Breaking through like the old world sun through a myriad of clouds.
Very much. Sunshine is with you.
At last.
Okay. So, as you calm, the Ortiz settles. It's nothing too drastic. It's a little bit wondrous, really. Listener, the spirit of the engineer is very proudly sharing images of the myriad of tentacles underneath made of various forms of metal and joints that is actually about to start moving in an undulating pattern and will actually move the craft forward now that you've settled on the bed.
Listener and the collective are duly impressed by this technical wizardry, and he eases forward on the lever.
All right. The Ortiz lurches into motion. Everybody feels the momentum as the craft takes off. All right. So now, a mechanic thing, just so you're aware, as we have our secondary map here.
Yes.
So the Ortiz is going to move, like I said, about 21, 22 knots, or for those of you unfamiliar, about 40 kilometers per hour. So that means you're going to move a hex for every 2 minutes in real time.
Sure.
So I'm going to give you your first hex there. And I'm going to start timing.
Okay.
And we're going to move you 1 hex.
Let me set up a timer of my own.
Okay. And you're welcome to move it every 2 minutes yourself if you'd like.
Will do. Will do.
I'll keep an eye on it.
What can I see out the front right now?
Right now, it's a lot of rock. You do see a passage ahead here. There's a passage opening up. You're in a small cul-de-sac, which is where you've dropped.
All right. I will gingerly bring the wheel around to face that passage.
All right.
All right, quick, everybody. You've got a minute and a half to roleplay. Go.
I'm going to send a message.
Okay. As previously planned in the chat, I'm going to hit Saoirse with the vibes that I pre-planned. And done.
Okay.
I'm going to send a message up to the listener and say, so How much coal have I got? A shovel? I mean, can I stop at any point, or do I need to just keep bloody going?
The coal must continue. I advise, when you tire, to switch off with another.
Yeah.
All right.
Although it's
a
like
couple of hours.
stoking an engine is not 100% shovel forever. 1 million years shovel coal.
Yeah.
It's a little chiller than that once you get fired up and you've got a good burning mound in there.
Yeah.
Just got to make sure it doesn't go out or die or weaken. So, anybody else doing anything?
Sirius is just going to look at Genesis and be like, "Isn't this fascinating, Genesis? It just, I've never been underwater, and I don't think anyone here has. This is really interesting."
What the hell?
What was that?
That was perfect.
Nice.
That was perfect.
That is my timer that I forgot actually had a sound associated with it. It repeats every 2 minutes.
No, that's perfect.
So
That's awesome.
So
So,
listeners at home, talk to him if you need him, but I'll be manning the timer noise.
that's awesome.
That's great.
And
Perfect.
Kaz, what were you saying something? Or no, that was Wilhelm.
No.
Wilhelm, what were you?
I was. I'm just gonna do a lap around calmly, make sure there are no holes or anything, and then I will return to the lab to continue progress on the machines.
The Orti is remarkably well kept, considering. No leaks, no cracks, nothing at least obvious. At least obvious.
Well, I will continue working, and then periodically I will walk through again and do labs and inspection.
Okay.
While I still have the engineer, I inquire with him, what is the passage out of this place? Even in the olden times, I believe the sea was far from here.
Well, none of this looks familiar.
Ah. How exciting.
But then I didn't do much driving or navigation.
Mm-hmm. Is it pleasant to see her move once more?
It's my joy.
I keyed up just so you could hear that one.
Oh, yeah, no, you're good.
All
Excellent.
right. Staring out the the side of the ship, like, yeah, the possibilities are what make it awesome.
Yeah. So as you guys
around like, oh, that's cool.
As you guys are entering this narrow tunnel,
Yep.
The first thing that you encounter is right over here at the edge of the light. You see this speckled incandescence with a strange purple hue flitting about just at the edge of the light. Little pinpoints of incandescent refraction in the water.
It's not good.
Is it visibly a creature or perhaps some lingering void energies?
It's hard to say.
Kaz will take a quick look out the window and see if he can make it out.
Okay. Which window are you looking at, Kaz?
Let's see. The forward-facing window.
All right, main one?
Yeah.
Okay. You see the same thing. It's right at the edge of light. As you move forward, you begin to see that what's making the reflection is actually the eyes of a large school of black fish with incandescent violet-colored eyes. They kind of dance in and out of the light. They're no bigger than your head.
Okay.
And it's a school of them. They seem to be just kind of curiously eyeing you.
I certainly observe them as we pass into the school and see how they respond to the vessel.
Well, you're moving at a good tick now.
Mm-hmm.
But they seem to be kind of pacing. They're pretty quick on their own. They'll kind of come up to the windows, the domes, and they'll peer in and swim around. And they're just curious. They don't seem to be anything threatening.
All right.
Saoirse's observing too, because this is all new to her. So she's just kind of mouth hanging open just a little bit, eyes wide, and just like watching it all.
Oh Lord, Bubbles the blobfish.
How long has it been since? How long has it been since you boarded? And
oh no, I'll give you your hour.
okay. And so that would be to roll a, let's see, a D10. I would roll my hit die to see how many points I get back.
But no, you get 2 points back. We actually do resting a little differently in this realm.
Hit dice are fake.
Yeah, that's why I didn't mind too much about the hit dice earlier. We don't really use them.
Oh.
But you should. That's what's. Did you get earlier? Was it 6 earlier?
Yep.
Plus an additional 2, so that's 8 total.
So 43.
Yeah. No, you're feeling a whole lot better.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and get up and just sort of. I look at the psychotropic sitting on the table next to me that Wilhelm left for me, and I go, no.
Wilhelm's probably back too, so he's in there with you.
Got it. Yeah. So I think I'm going to just gingerly do a little of my own exploring now.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and move, I guess, forward, over to where I see the guns.
All right.
On this floor and check out the guns.
These are massive. You're not really familiar with the type of gun, though the mechanism is pretty much the same. They're sealed into the wall of the Orti, 4 of them. Based on your knowledge of artillery, these would be the equivalent of a 19-pounder each.
19-pounder.
Mm-hmm.
A catastrophically large cannon.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of looking it over a little bit, scrutinizing it, just to familiarize myself with it. This is something that actually is making me comfortable because it's something I can focus on, and you know, I have knowledge and experience with this type of artillery. Not obviously underwater, but still have an idea. You know, definitely experience with that.
The base principle is the same, which means you'll be able to use it. I will say, based on your knowledge and your training, first thing you notice is, dear Lord, these need to be cleaned so bad. They've been sitting idle for a long time. They could use a good oiling.
Yeah, I see this. I'm thinking, oh, that looks like something I could do, but I guess I should see what everyone else has gotten off to.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go downstairs.
Okay.
To here and look around. And who's this down? Oh, Kat. And so I say Kaz, and I say, "Oh, hello, Kaz. I'm up from my rest. Did I miss anything?"
Oh, I think he's AFK for a second. He's steady shoveling coal, though, moving coal from the coal bin over to the furnace in the back and shoveling it in. He's probably got a good sheen of sweat on him at this point.
I do think Saoirse is going to head downstairs at this point because she'll be curious about what everyone else is doing.
That's fine. The ant is grooming the phoenix. Oh, there's Kaz. Yeah, Uki was asking how you're doing, Kaz.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm okay. I mean, I think I can keep going at this for at least maybe another hour or two. Easy.
I see. What does this contraption seem to be over here? In the center of the room?
So that's a moon pool in the center with a crane above it. The great covering that normally would be closed over it to keep it kind of safe and sealed has been broken through from outside at some long time ago. It's still covered and there's nothing coming in, but if you look down, you can see the water.
And I'm going to turn to the rest of my party and say, anybody a little nervous about that being exposed? Especially with the animals being down here? I mean...
Jeff's got it covered.
Oh, okay. So if anything happens, Jeff will take care of it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking of bringing all of the animals up to the next level. Actually, I would rather they be up here with the rest of us.
I think that's I think that's a very good idea. I think about some of the lakes up up in where near the God's Teeth, and there's strange creatures that sometimes just take some of the very those animals that are left untended from the lake. They say it's a serpent. I don't know.
Yeah, I think Jeff will be fine, and certainly I trust Kaz's judgment on this. It's his mount, but yeah, the others I would like to see upstairs.
Okay.
And at this point, I'm going to go over and probably find my mount that I've been riding this whole time, Wind, and tilt its head up to me and just kind of stroke her head.
They're all a little on edge. They kind of look out the window nervously a lot.
Something tells me that unfortunately Earth would fall prey to the, what is it? You don't have to be the fastest to outrun the zombies, just don't be the slowest.
Yeah, no kidding.
Poor Earth probably would probably be the first casualty if something happened. Because as you said, Jeff can take care of himself, but how quickly?
Poor Earth.
Yeah, at this time I'm going to take my Mount Wind, and I'm going to see if doing that, if I can lead them all upstairs.
Yeah. I think somebody already snagged them.
Not me. They did move.
Yeah, that's no problem though. They won't resist you. They're nervous enough and trust you enough at this point that they feel like you're going to lead them somewhere safe.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, Wind in particular, I want to kind of keep with me now.
Okay, that's fine.
Slasha would like to calm her nerves and decides it's time to pull 3 cards from her deck.
All right. You may pull your cards. Let's see what you get. So you should have the unrollable tables. You'll see it there. Just hit roll for each card. The hamburger next to your settings gear.
Yeah.
Are these tarot cards?
They are indeed.
Love it.
Nice.
So there's 2. They're not really showing, are they?
No, they're not.
Hang on.
I can kind of see what they are. Let's see here.
Justice.
Wheel of Fortune. Exactly what we thought would happen here.
Two Wheel of Fortune. Yeah.
Wheel of Fortune, Wheel of Fortune, Justice.
Let's see if we go 1. That just creates the token. I'll have to work on that, clean it up for you.
Okay.
But yeah.
Well, isn't that interesting? Justice. Huh. Decides to get up and wander around until she finds some people.
Okay.
Uki's going to start cleaning some of these cannons. She's just, seeing other people at work. She needs to find some busy work for herself.
Yeah, Saoirse's just gonna be on the bench, like, with Wind now.
Okay.
Just chilling.
As Saoirse leaves the room, my good mood plummets slightly.
Okay.
And I get back to looking out the window of the ship with slightly less optimism.
All right. Back to taking
That
it
airworm
seriously.
lasts 24 hours, by the way.
Yeah. You're pretty good there.
Yeah, but you're not here, so
No.
I am sad.
Do you want to do the skateboards? All right. So, all right. So Uki's cleaning the cannons. Wilhelm's in his lab working. Saoirse's kind of in the day room area with her mount. Slutra's
Relaxing, looking out the window.
I believe Slutra's just joined you.
Coal.
What's that?
Yeah.
Kaz is shoveling coal.
Kaz is still shoveling coal.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff is guarding the moon pool, and Listener is driving with Genesis nervously next to him. I love that sound.
It's great.
I've been taking us this whole time. We'll be there before you know it.
Yeah, you're doing great. This is working really well. I'm happy. What's nice is anyone watching the stream, you can actually see both of these going on. I'm so happy.
Nice.
I'm just trying not to sing Octopus's Garden, though, as we're traveling along.
Octopus.
Might it be a good time to take a short bio break in the interim?
I'm okay if everyone else is.
Union break time is probably right here. Yeah, feels like it.
All right, yeah. So we will pause for a
Pause
quick
the time.
union break, and we will be back shortly.
Stick around.
Stick around. Where's my beer? There it is. Be right back. back. All right. Welcome back, everyone. Everybody's fed and watered and all that good stuff. So,
Indeed.
we got our timer back on.
Indeed we do.
Excellent.
It is ticking along.
So we're moving along. Everyone's finally kind of sitting down and getting acclimated to the ship and everything. What's everybody doing at this point as Listener Steady drives us along with, Kaz's help?
Uki's continuing to. She's now moved on to the second cannon to clean that one.
Okay. Steady clean. Good.
Kaz is getting used to the amount of coal kind of thing, so he's kind of like figuring out the perfect amount of coal for the journey from where the coal is to the actual furnace, to the right amount just to keep it steadily going without it being too taxing.
Okay. Luckily,
for someone who, for one of the others, for when they take over, so I can say this is amount of coal you will need, because these humans aren't as strong as me.
That's fair. Or as constitutional, at least.
Yeah, that too.
These humans in particular might have like a +1 or +2 strength mod in between them.
But that's okay. That's okay. At least you do have a cart.
Yes.
You do have a cart.
So I'm trying to figure out the right amount that I think they can cope with, that they won't die.
Yeah.
Hooray!
I feel like I'm at an Astros game.
Yeah.
Just for the record, Wilhelm has a +2.
Oh.
He is actually stronger.
There you go.
So does Uki.
He's a beefy doctor.
Yeah.
So, you're moving along. You guys are starting to notice, those of you below decks as well, that the number of fish peeking in the windows is increasing the further in you go. They're keeping pace with you and just staring in the windows. Listener, it's not a threatening thing, but is starting to get a little bit obscuring vision-wise.
I see. If I were to reach out to them telepathically, which has functioned on animals before, what happens?
Are you going to attempt it?
I'll make an attempt at it.
Okay.
Just pick one at random,
Okay. Make a roll as if you're trying to reach into an unwilling mind. Or is it their save? I can't. It's their save, isn't it?
We never even established something for unwilling minds. I think that's more in line with Genesis's class features. I think I've probably made an int check for that before.
All right. Well, it's fish. Let's go with the int check for now.
There you go.
Oh dear.
Okay. So Genesis. Saoirse.
All right.
Slatra.
Yep.
And Listener.
Yo.
I need all of you to make a wisdom save, please.
Here we go.
Boop, boop.
Ha!
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Oh boy.
Oh, I'm loving it.
Oh dear.
Beautiful.
Loving it.
Oh, this is gonna be fun.
Come on, Genesis.
That's
13.
That's the best
Use a
one so
point.
far.
Use a point.
Okay.
It's better.
So, thank you, Con, by the way. Appreciate the bits there. So, Genesis, I'll describe what happens to you in a moment. The rest of you, listener, as you reach out, you are immediately hit with a enormously powerful psychic slapback.
Ouch.
So you reach out with your mind, just you're not even worried about it. It's like, oh, let's see what this fish is thinking about.
Fish, fish.
And because of your nature, you know exactly what's just happened. I'll say that.
Ah, fuck me.
The fish.
The fletchlings can do it.
The fish school functions as a hive mind.
Oh yeah.
And it sensed you trying to reach out as a threat and slapped back with its full force.
All right, so one, I just ticked the thing forward. Two, listeners flat on his ass and not manning the controls anymore.
No, you are stunned for... I'm going to just roll for all of you, except for Genesis, for the next... well, we'll say, I was going to say 2 rounds, but yeah. Basically, you're drifting forward this next round for 2 rounds, basically.
Well, Genesis might be able to take over the helm, but I ain't doing shit.
Yeah, so, Slatra, you're knocked back. You're not sure what just hit you. Something just nailed you. It's like, you're very familiar with the use of empathy, right? Your character is very familiar with the use of empathy. But this is something like you've never really experienced because you just got hit with the full force of something in your empathetic muscle.
Empathetic muscles.
Yeah, so it's enough that it stunned you. It's like
yeah.
This is like, imagine Artex drowning in the swamp times 1,000 just hit you.
Don't you do
You're
that.
Make me laugh, not cry.
No.
Too soon.
Business.
Too soon.
So Saoirse, same for you.
Yeah, Saoirse was sitting down on the couch with Wind just kind of petting her head. So
yeah, Wind is looking at you like, what just happened to you? Genesis.
Wind is a boy, but he licks you on the face.
Genesis, you felt like you just face planted in a bowl full of Jello for a second. Something just lashed out psychically. You managed to kind of navigate and avoid it, but yeah. And then you are. Where are you right now? You up top?
Right next to me.
Yeah, you see Listener just fall back on his rear, like confused.
Whoa.
And the Orti is about to ram into the wall.
Oh no! I've been watching him do the controls, and I'm like, grab. Is there a way to turn this thing?
What direction are you turning the wheel?
Away from the wall.
So you're spinning.
Fire the guns.
Left or right?
Observe the voyage of the Ortiz screen. We are at a fork in the road.
Left or right?
Left.
Left? Are you turning hard left or? Yeah, you're panicking. We'll go hard left. So the Orti. There we go.
I can't move it yet, huh?
Oh yeah, no, don't move it yet.
Okay.
We'll let listeners still move it on the map, just because he's a.
Okay.
I've got it down.
So yeah, you guys feel the whole craft just shift hard, like it's enough to make you stumble. Like it's a hard turn. The Phoenix kind of startle and begin chattering and whining.
As this goes on, Listener is reaching out to the collective to open up diplomatic relations with a newly discovered hive.
They are very displeased, not with you, just the situation. They're not sure they want anything to do with this.
Neither am I.
Archibald vomits on the floor.
Oh no.
His little mandibles just start clackety, and he's like, "Oh, I can't deal with this."
Ant vomit on the floor.
That's a lot of
He's just
formic
like-
acid.
Ooh.
turning in little circles, and and the phoenix tried to calm Archibald,
Oh.
which is oddly in reverse.
All right, so there's your second one. You are starting to pull out of it, you guys, now.
Okay.
You're still kind of drifting very close to that point.
I'm like,
You have enough
hand on
time
the
to
wheel, and
you have
I'm
enough time to
like,
correct, I will say, if you want.
Are you gonna be all right? We need you to steer the ship because I don't know what I'm doing.
Listener slowly gets to his feet, returns to the helm, and makes a gentle correction left as he eyes the fish.
All right, the
I've
fish
done my role.
the fish have scattered. They're no longer watching you.
Well, Kaz is gonna put a huge, massive double load into the furnace and then storm upstairs. What the bloody hell's going on?
I'd like to know the same thing. Who is it that I owe solid punch to the face for?
So
Kaz
Kaz,
Let's not do anything
sit up
hasty.
and start petting Wind, like, making sure he's okay. I had Canonder as a girl, David. I had a name picked out and
I'm
everything.
sorry.
Shit.
well, your fennec is worried about you, so it begins to nuzzle you and lick your face.
As listeners gently manning the tiller, he connects to Genesis and he says, "First mate Genesis,
Hi.
please inform our companions that we were assaulted by a school of fish."
Okay. To do that, I take up a fighting stance, and then I make a fish face with my, like, and I'm like, do 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 do.
Oh, I so wish I could.
What?
I wish I could see a video of this right now.
Oh yeah. We will definitely have the VOD at least. Maybe we can get some fan art animation going.
Fight music from Super Mario, like.
Now, what is it? Stage 1-3, I think, has the fish.
Kaz kind of pinches his brow at the mental imagery. He says, "You know what? Never mind. Don't want to know. I'm just going to get back to it. Just no."
So you gotta head back down.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Wait, was Genesis downstairs and doing this?
No, I'm upstairs. There's an intercom system, right?
Yeah, Genesis
Oh,
is
okay.
you guys are hearing Genesis' voice just pipe through all over. It's a little disconcerting.
And then the fish was like, "Kapsh." And we were like, "Whoa!"
I'm going to head upstairs myself.
All right.
How on earth was there actually a gift for that? Snacks, what have you done?
And such was the legend of the void fish.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Oh.
Genesis, what went on? What was going on?
Fish fight.
Fish fight.
Didn't you hear? Didn't you hear? Didn't you visualize my perfectly executed fish face?
That's a difficult one to visualize based off of the sound.
True.
Listener connects
was a
helpfully
whole
up to
school
your
of
mind
fish,
and says, "Fish fight."
Fish fight.
Fish fight.
Nice.
We have taken the northward branch, by the way, Church, so let us know what's going on as we progress.
Oh yeah, no, I'm watching. I'm watching close.
I make the face again.
Well, all right. Well, they were
You have
getting
something on your
rather.
face.
They were getting rather close to the Orti. It was getting really hard to see there for a bit. I'm glad they all scattered, though.
Did you let the phoenix lick you?
Yes.
Oh, do you know where their tongues have been? Oh, that's gross.
That's
Oh.
classic.
Do we know where your tongue has been?
But she is an anarchist now. So
God, you said that and a dirty joke just immediately popped in my mind.
I'm kidding with you, but it gives me a reason to touch your face, which is why I said it. So
I figured.
So, as you're moving forward, the water up ahead is becoming silty.
Ooh. Could be good, could be bad.
There's a lot of debris, like silt debris, not like chunks of people or anything that you know of.
We talking like real world silt, like sort of glacial river deposit?
No, just like loose earth floating in the water.
Okay, that is at least a sign of some, like, moving water, so we could be approaching a section of the river that has above ground, or we could even be coming up to an underground delta. Ooh.
Possibly.
Or it could be a monster. Huh?
Could be. It could be an enormous titan waiting to stomp on you.
Beautiful.
Release the Kraken.
It's funny is, for the sake of the stream, I actually have my overlay, like, completely dimmed down. So if you're watching on the stream, like, this is what I'm looking at, too. So even though I kind of know where things are, like, I'm not using a cheat sheet. I'm just going to let you guys discover as it goes and be like, oh, yeah, I remembered putting that there.
Oh, yeah, the psychic fish, right.
I liked the psychic fish. That was a fun touch.
That was good. I'm so glad I reached out to them.
I feel like this is secretly a digestive system.
You're in the guts of a god.
Or of a mimic.
Oh, well, yeah, I know. I don't want to do that to you twice. This is where the Whispering Gale ended up.
But they even still exist in this world, because a lot of things were killed off with the void.
Oh, yeah.
The blight.
I wonder
Plot
if...
twist. It was the act of the mimic that caused this to happen in the first place. Ooh.
It'd be funny if you did run into the Gale. So,
Oh no.
real quick, just so we don't get completely off topic. What's everybody else doing here? No, you're good. What's our rest of our crew downstairs doing?
Well, I think now that
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
okay. Well, I think now that Sirius has had her question answered, she's going to go back downstairs at this time and sit on the couch.
Okay. Slaughter, what are you up to?
Uki's gonna go check on the other Phoenix and the ant.
Okay. Probably a good time to feed them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she'll go ahead and feed them as well.
Okay.
Wind dances around you excitedly.
Slaughter, what are you
Here's
up
the
to?
irony.
You said you wanted to do something? Slaughter?
She's just humming a tune to herself down there.
Oh, okay.
Tapping her foot.
Okay.
Uki does find the Phoenix is trying to lap up the ant vomit, though.
Oh, no. Don't do that.
No.
But speaking of...
So she's like,
okay. No, don't do it.
no, I'm saying that. Sorry, I was role playing. Uki's going, no, don't.
No.
Here, have some of this.
Well, speaking of delicious meals, you guys are starting to get a little hungry.
My stomach
I've been
growls.
thinking about eating fried fish for about the past 10 minutes.
Wonder how good psychic fish tastes.
It's better than you'd imagine, but don't.
Yeah, Uki's gonna walk. Now that she's fed the animals over here, she'll go back over and let Genesis know what she's fed the those animals and said, "What happened? Everything. I was gonna go upstairs, but it seemed to settle down. We all right? Is it time for dinner yet?"
From
Well,
up
it seems
above
that you
can
just
hear.
approached.
Oh, that's their sheer set. Sorry, I should. Men, 36% is not close enough. Men.
I'm at 20.
Yeah, there's. I'm at 50, and the name tags are small.
Yeah.
Oh, Sheriff, what just happened?
Well, I went upstairs to Listener and Genesis, and all they said was fish fight. Which was
Upstairs, you hear giggling.
Fish,
fight.
are we having fish fry for dinner?
No, fish fight is
Fish
what
fry.
they said. And like I did notice from looking out the domed window here that the black school of fish with the purple eyes, like they were starting to obscure our vision a bit, and then as soon as we all got hit with, it just seemed like all of a sudden someone just slammed into our minds, and then the fish scattered. Frankly, I don't know what happened, and as I said, all Listener and Genesis said was fish fight.
Oh my! I was preoccupied intently on this last cannon over here, trying to clean it, and I didn't notice. Didn't notice anything. So I'm
Well,
everything's under control now.
well, we all seem to be fine, and no real damage or harm came from it. It was odd. It was definitely odd.
While I'm up in the helm with Listener, I'm just like, hey, this fleshling appendage, air quotes around fleshling, needs to go eat something. I'll be right back.
You are relieved of your post. I will be here.
I, Captain.
Still the wrong hand. I, Captain. That's what I say.
All right, so
I.
As Genesis heads down, Listener.
What are you doing over here?
Listener and Slaughter, which way are you facing? Out or in?
Out.
Oh, so you as well will see this. Your light is illuminating a construction, a enormous construction ahead of you. You're not entirely sure what it is, but it is not a natural construction of any type. Right here is the edge of it.
I see it. I see it.
You just moved the Ortiz, Jacob, because the alarm did go off.
Yeah, he did.
I moved it slightly prematurely.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it looks like it's opening into a rounded chamber with something large in it. So Listener and Slaughter are the only ones that have really seen this so far, since they're the only ones facing front.
So that was premature movulation.
So you're just technically facing front.
Yeah. Well, you can roll a perception to see if you notice it, but it's out a little bit still. Yeah, so you pick up on it, and this is massive. This is a huge construction of some sort. Right now, it looks like you could probably crawl over it.
Okay. Listener will bear starboard slightly.
All right.
To skirt the edge.
Okay. I think you can turn the direction of the Ortiz if you want to as well.
What?
Like when
I can.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh.
Apparently, even with advantage, Kaz is definitely busy with the coal.
Yeah, he's busy. It's all good. Everybody moving forward to take a look.
Yeah, I hear that there's something that looks to be constructed of stone. And seeing as how Hyberstedians are very good at stone cutters and masonry, this is just actually intrigued Spooky. So kind of take a look at it.
All right.
It would seem the Phoenix have already eaten, so I guess I will eat and then make sure that Archibald's okay.
So, looking, and that's fine, Genesis. That's no worries. What you apparently are looking at as you move closer and are edging around it, this appears to be a thumb.
A thumb.
A thumb of an enormous carved hand sticking out of the bed.
That was important. Carved was important.
Carved.
Did somebody
Carved.
over here? What's
Stone.
you?
No,
The-
no, it's fine. Just dwarves downstairs just being ignored by everybody. Oh, yes.
Gross.
Only stuff to do with stone and stuff. No, it's fine. I'm just down here shoveling coal. Who cares?
Uki was on her way down, but she like, as soon as she heard carved stone, she's like, "What?"
It's Uki. It's beautiful. Even being underwater for what you can imagine has been quite a long amount of time. Like, it's beautiful. It's flawless. Aside from the cracks of age and wear and erosion of the water, like at what you can tell, like at one time this would have been near perfect, smooth,
I mean, no.
skin texture,
Slovenia.
everything.
Slovenians famously don't know nothing about bloody stone, do we? No.
So this,
The
this
dulcet
really,
tones of dwarven kvetching. Just
yeah. No, this definitely speaks to Uki, just the craftsman, just the craftsman work of this, because understanding that Haverstadians, their public hall is Hammerspark, which is a structure that's carved directly into the mountainside, and then also has other halls of the main halls of Grunholm actually go into Cavern as well. So she's just like mesmerized by this, and the fact that this is underwater, and how did they do this? Did they do it when underwater, or they did it while underwater? At least things are going through her head in regards to what she's seeing, and so she tells the others, it's like, this is incredible work. It's a thumb.
Yeah.
A carve.
Here, I'm going to move this little line block out of the way there. There you go.
Thank you.
I think
How did it get down here?
Probably collapsed and fell underwater, if I had to guess. And especially considering where I assume we are, which would be underneath the waste in the eastern lands of Cairne. Could be something related to the Galdashaw elves,
Okay.
perhaps.
Let's see what we see here. Hey, the Phoenix noticed it.
Not sure the Phoenix would care too much about it.
Yeah, they're just chittering.
Wow. It's a thing and such.
How far across are
It's
these
a hitchhiker.
hexes?
Technically, I know the RT fills up an entire one, so that's not entirely accurate, but it's about a kilometer.
Okay.
Hmm.
All right. Not too bad.
Love it. So you can see ahead what would have been what is the most likely the index finger.
Is has Kaz noticed how quiet all of a sudden upstairs is becoming?
You know what? I will give you that. From all the chatter you had earlier, yeah, suddenly everything's completely
everyone's
quiet.
staring out the window and looking at a thumb. Yeah,
It's just you and Jeff down there.
yeah. I'll call out. Guys.
Uki's gonna go downstairs and say, "Oh, Kaz, I'm so sorry. I was going to come down and help and give you a break, but I became quite distracted because cannons and cleaning and oh my gosh, the thumb."
I'll come downstairs as well.
More than Kaz has probably heard Uki say, like, she says, just like goes off says more in 5 minutes than she probably
I
said
mean,
in
the
5 days.
cannons I kind of got. What thumb?
So we came across this a carving, a very large carving, a thumb here underwater, and it's
What?
incredible, fast craftsmanship.
Yeah.
Wait a second.
It's a rather beautifully carved statue.
You should be able to see it through this dome if you go over and look.
Yeah, I'm gonna wander over to the dome and take a good look out. Also, one of Kaz's things is pretty good at stone masonry.
Mm-hmm.
So he's gonna take a good look with his expert eyes and see what he can make out of it.
Give me a history check at advantage, please.
Oh no, no history.
At advantage.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even with advantage.
You can do this. Hey, not bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're looking out, you see this beautiful piece of work. I mean, breathtaking. The detail, like the grooves in the fingerprints.
Bloody hell, it's got a thumbprint.
Yeah, like it literally, it's there. In the back of your mind, you remember hearing stories of an ancient truce between the Galdashah elves and the original singular tribe of dwarves before the split, where long, long ago they had made a pact of peace and community between one another. One would safeguard the overland and the other down below, and it was a pact, a truce, where they would work together supposedly at the time for all eternity. And they had unified to carve an enormous gargantuan statue of two hands joined together, fingers interlocked, and it was the best craftsman of both people, and that statue was lost with the blight. In fact, it had been forgotten with everything that had happened afterward. Right. And you have a sneaking suspicion that this is part of that statue.
Oh. Well, I'll relay that information to those around me.
Oh, wow.
Go this way, please.
All this lost history.
Just in time for the Orty to swing away, so now you've got to look out of the port and starboard windows if you want to see anything.
Yeah, although I will say you can actually lean into the domes and look back still. It's just a slight bit of distortion.
And I would say this is something that Uki would not know as much detail as Kaz, but this is legendary.
Yes.
Because of the Hyberstedians. I mean, this is something her grandmother spoke of. One, because of the craftsmanship of the dwarves, of the masons, but also because the Hyberstedians are committed to bringing together. They are advocates for bringing together both of the dwarf, to bring them back into unified.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
so
that makes sense.
This is something that she's just like, oh my gosh, this is something that my grandfather spoke of, and it's something that he instilled in as well as all of, it's fabled, but do you really think that this thumb could be part of that work? I mean, where's the rest of it?
Well, I'd say down underneath silt. Buried.
I have a stupid question.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any water in here?
In
like fresh water?
In the chamber that you're moving through?
Drinkable water? We found rations. We found water.
That's a fair question. Is there?
Yes.
We loaded up before leaving.
Okay.
There's not a
I'm gonna grab
reservoir of
some of
water on the ship, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab some water from that and head back up to the helm. Be like, "Ah, that was nice."
Sorry, that's like the equivalent of a DM dad joke. I don't know, is there?
I don't know. Did you just kill yourselves?
So I just casually walk up to you, walk up to your right, and I'm like, hey. But I don't actually move my lips. I'm just like, mentally, hey.
Mind talking.
Welcome back, first mate.
So Saoirse's going to go upstairs and get some food now.
All right.
So I hang there for a minute, and then I hand you the cup of water.
Yeah.
Thank you. He just stands there with a finger down in the water, slowly absorbing it.
Nice.
Like Mark. So
Kaz will tell Uki to go eat something real quick, and then he can take over, and go get himself something to eat once Uki's done.
Well, Uki says, "Oh, well, here, Kaz," and hands him some tack and says, "I've already eaten, but if you need to go take here's a little something to tide you over till you get upstairs. But I did eat before I came down."
Ah, nice.
Somebody's looking out for you, Kaz.
Yeah. She went ahead and just kind of snagged something out of the rations as you came through from feeding the Phoenix, and just kind of always something to help but sustain. Too much food makes you slow and tired. So.
I'll hold the food in one hand and touch Uki on the shoulder with the other. Thank you so much. I'm glad someone's thinking about me.
Oh well, so sorry I couldn't get down here sooner. But now that you've seen that carving, you can understand why I became a bit distracted.
No, I understand totally. I get it. That was beautiful. I'm glad you guys told me about it, because if I'd have missed that, I'd have been really, really upset.
I understand you perfectly. I'm still just in awe and shock that could possibly be.
I'm pretty certain that was the work of my forefathers.
Very likely.
Wow.
So, I have to ask here, just because you've been remarkably quiet, Slatra, what are you up to? You still there? Slatra.
Oh no, we're short of Slatra.
Uh-oh.
Oh. Well, we'll give her a second. She's still in chat with us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just in case she's having technical difficulties or something. All right. So, Kaz, do you want to go upstairs and take a break? You have been at this for a while.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I've been planning to go and have a quick word with Wilhelm for a little while, so yeah.
All right, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, but before I do, I will actually pull that pistol out, the little flintlock thing, and I will hand it over to Uki and say, "Here, I found this. I thought you might appreciate it."
All right, so he holds out a flintlock pistol with beautiful engravings in wood, solid hardwood, nicely stained, beautifully oiled, with a whole lot of brass and gold filigree all over it. It's a beautiful piece, an amazing looking weapon.
This is just so amazing. Thank you. What can I possibly give you in return to barter for this beautiful? The loner, right?
I don't need nothing for that. I mean, I just found it. I just thought you might like it.
Oh, this is wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much. This is wonderful. You go upstairs and get yourself something to eat. I'm fine here. Just anything special I should know though in regards to Jeff.
No, I mean, just leave him do what he's doing. I mean, he's pretty happy looking down at the water. I mean, fill this cart up to about this level, and then take it over to there, and that's about it. It's pretty easy. But
Oh,
yeah,
no worries. I'm feeling much better than when we first got on the boat. So on the submersible. So you go right ahead. I got.
all right, thank you. I'll be back in a few.
Okay. Okay, on our way. I'll be right there. Okay. Here's the tickets. Thanks.
All right.
Yeah. So
Okay,
Kaz
so-
will head upstairs and
Yeah.
go check out
He's
Will.
gonna start shoveling coal.
Okay, so yeah, you start shoveling. You head up to get some grub and talk to Wilhelm. Slaughter, what are you up to? You doing anything?
So at the moment, just still working on a little tune in her head, and she decides to pull out her harp and just start playing a nostalgic sounding song.
Okay. Is this one of your musician songs or just
Stop right
an old Shonakesian tune?
It's gonna be
there.
here. So just playing an empathic performance.
Okay. What?
And kind of creating a calm but nostalgic feeling.
All right.
She kind of wishes she was back.
Well, I tell you what. Give me a performance roll, if you would.
Okay.
And it should be at advantage as a Shonakesian.
Yeah.
There you go.
Make a wish.
Okay.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
So you begin to play. The main thing I was rolling for is to see if this is going to be a unique tune or a recognizable tune. So based upon your roll, Saoirse, you know this song. You hear it wafting through the rooms. This lilting melody that just kind of takes you back and makes you think of home. You know this song. You used to play it with your parents back at your house.
Saoirse just kind of leans back in the chair she's sitting in as she's finishing up her eating and just kind of smiles, calm.
There's a totally different vibe upstairs. Totally different. Listeners just like stoic and calm, and I'm just like popping into different like angles of the helm, looking around, and then I just start doing that the dance that you would associate with Rah Rah Rasputin. the low lean down and the kicking one.
Oh
like
no.
Genesis
Genesis has the bends. She's got the nitrogen bubbles kicking off in her brain. She's going wild. So everybody kind of hears the music begin to filter through the ship. It is, if not calming, in some of your cases, at least relaxing to the mind. You feel at ease.
Well, this doesn't match the tempo at all.
Saoirse, I have to ask, are you inclined to join in on the song, seeing as you know it? It's up to you. Don't feel obligated.
Is this the song I think it is?
It's a song that makes you think of home. An old Shonakesian tune. We'll say for lack of having an original song to shout out that no one would, everyone would know. We'll say that this is an acoustic rendition of Time After Time.
Golly, I'm inclined to sing along, but I can't remember the lyrics at the moment. But I feel like Saoirse would probably sing along silently.
Okay, so not enough to be heard.
Probably not. No.
Okay, that's fine.
Well, maybe loud enough if the person is close, but yeah.
So Kaz will hear you. Kaz will hear Saoirse begin to sing. So Kaz, now you haven't spent a lot of time around Shunakesians. You've heard a Shunakesian sing. And you've heard Shunakesians play separate songs in similar areas. This is the first time you've heard a duet. And even though they're not trying, really, this is just passing the time, thinking about home, it nearly moves you to tears. All you can think about is Grand Home. All you can think about is your family, your home, your room, your bed, your pet. Like, you're suddenly very misty-eyed, which is really rare for a dwarf.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's Kaz is thinking, stop it. Stop it. This is.
I love it.
So Slottribs begins dancing a little with the tune and adds a bit of percussion with her feet.
Excellent. So the intensity of the song is rising through the ship. The vocal begins to become more intense. The performance is just beautiful, especially for Kaz. Kaz, you're in a very lucky position to be able to hear something that some people go entire lifetimes in this current age without ever experiencing. A true Shunakesian duet. Even though they're
unintentional duet.
An unintentional duet. In some ways, it makes it even more pure, though.
Yeah, I'm kind of stood outside Wilhelm's door, not quite knocking,
It's
just
his hand just hovering over the door.
hovering. I'll knock in a minute. I've got a few more minutes. Yeah.
So yeah, the song ends. You kind of wipe your eyes, sniffle a little.
And then, I gently knock on Wilhelm's door and open the door. Poke my head in.
All right. He's sitting at the lab bench, just tinkering with, I don't know, chemicals and stuff. You're not really sure.
Well,
hello, Kaz.
There you go.
Hey, how's it going? How you doing?
Come on in. I could use some company.
I think Saoirse is going to come out of like the room at this point and kind of peek her head in and just ask if she can join as well.
I mean, why not?
Right.
I'm pretty sure there's just about enough room for three of us in there.
Yeah. Close enough.
At a squeeze.
Oh, well.
Just don't walk outside the ship.
I'll just sit on the edge of the bed here.
All right.
Or the cot.
I am working on something. Please don't test it yet.
Yeah.
I wouldn't dream of it, mate.
And Slutcher, are you still playing? You gonna keep going just for effect?
She changes tunes and now she's just humming along. A little ditty sounds a little like Way, hey, and up she rises. Way, hey, and up she rises.
All right. Awesome. Awesome. All right. So yeah, you guys can all hear Slatra playing out there.
I'm stomping on the 1s and 3s and clapping on the 2s and 4s. Just doing a little.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. So
I get up and shut the door again.
Okay. Classic Wilhelm.
Sensible advice.
Alright.
Imperialist.
Yeah. It does very little to shut out the sound, but. So, Kaz, what was on your mind? What did you want to talk to Wilhelm about?
I was just literally gonna go ask him about like how he's feeling mentally now that he's moved away from where his friends were.
Oh.
You know, and I know that he was feeling a little bit of grief.
Oh.
I'm just seeing how he's doing.
How are you feeling?
I am processing. Those. I am a benevolist. I consider all of them just as I would you all, my friends and family. And I could not help them. Not only that, they burned. And I know that they had to. I know what was needed and I know what they did, according to what they did to themselves. They had to burn the infection. That includes lighting themselves on fire. And it is what was needed. Just processing.
I know, mate. Trust me, I know. I know how it is, you know? I had a good friend who was a benevolent like you. And he often told me sometimes with certain injuries, when the gangrene sets in, sometimes you just have to make the hard decision, you know, and you gotta amputate to make sure that the patient isn't completely lost, right? And they had to make the hard decision.
They did, and I understand why they did what they did. I have always believed there is always a way. I don't know if you remember this, Sorsha, but outside where we all met, there was a woman with the sickness. And I actually managed to save her. Carried her through town so that she actually could get healed. Despite the probability she would not make it, we still managed to actually save her that day. And I know that there was nothing I could do. It's just not something I'm used to dealing with. I'm not. I am a man who believes in being calm. So I am calm right now. I understand why it needed to be done. I understand how it needed to be done. But I also am saddened, which is understandable.
It is.
Well, Wilhelm, you certainly went through something very tough, and it is your right to grieve, but I do hope you remember this, that what we did and where we were led, we did fulfill the last wishes of your fellow benevolent. We did exactly what she asked so her soul could find peace. Wilhelm, I never, ever want you to doubt the good that you do for people. As I still remember that day in the martyr's tomb when you saw my face and my scars for the first time and you knew what I was, and I was so afraid and nervous of a lot of you still, because I'd heard stories from my parents about just how people treat Shawnakesians, how we're a perpetual bad luck charm to the rest of society because of what happened to us and how we're mistreated. And then, especially with respect to the Becklerites, my parents did not have a very high opinion of your kind, but you showed me different. You were the very first Becklerite I interacted with, and you showed me a lot different, that people are not their race. People are not their ethnicity. People are individuals. And you alone, like, gave me such... Well, you played a big part in giving me an expanded outlook on people, and I'm not as afraid to face the world anymore. I'm really not. And especially you've come along and help us fulfill this somnambulous prophecy. I think your willingness to help with that, to me, shows your dedication to help as many people as possible. Like, we really are doing something fantastic for the world of Cairne, Wilhelm. But beyond that, you did something very fantastic for me. So I never want you to doubt the good that you do for people, and take solace and comfort in that.
I walk over, my hands on Sorsha's, and in Shawnakesian, you are family. You are my sister, as far as I am concerned.
I respond.
And I hug her.
I respond in Shawnakesian in kind, return the hug, and say, "You're my family too."
Damn.
And I open one arm out to Kaz.
It's a good thing
I
Sasha's not there.
unfortunately. I offer an arm to Kaz if he would like to hug as well.
Yeah, he'll get involved. He'll I mean, but for the longest time, he'll have been staring at Saoirse and you know, look at her in a new light as well, because he doesn't really understand the whole Shawnakesian thing as much as the others do. You know, a lot of it is lost on him. But a little. He seems to have a little bit of enlightenment with that.
Oh yeah.
But he totally gets involved in the hug, and he will say, "Mate, when it comes to losing a lot of people that you love, I know exactly how it feels. Trust me. I lost all my brothers and my sisters over the space of days. So, if ever you need to talk about that feeling of loss, I'm here for it. I can sympathize."
And Saoirse will reach over to Kaz too and offer a hug. And she'll say,
It's time.
And Saoirse will say, "I lost my parents before I found everyone here." And Kaz, when we were out there at the butcher's block, I had the bravery to... I felt like I could step up and face a butcher like I did, because I knew that if something went wrong, everyone, and that includes you and Nuki as well, I knew that you would have my back if something went wrong. You're in this with us, and you're just as much family now too. My parents died before I met you all, and you're as much my family now as anyone.
Kaz nods.
To play off the collective vibe that I'm getting from downstairs, I'm just gonna like use my new skill of empathy to be like, we're all a clan, we're all cool, we're gonna be in a club together.
Are you
the new hive, y'all?
Are you saying this over the intercom or telepathically or what?
I'm just giving the feeling of it, you know, the collective
okay.
inner.
So you're feeding into the empathy and pulsing out from it.
The collective big mood.
Just like a yeah, the big mood, and
The
just
big
like
mood.
feel the warm gooey center of the chocolate brownie that is this moment, and just like
This was a moment. This was definitely a moment. Wilhelm busting out with the Shawnee Keisian.
I have my arms outstretched, and I'm like moving my hips from side to side and my head back, like yes,
You're ghost hugging.
let's go.
I love it.
Fingertips outstretched, like yeah.
I will say, Slaughter, even you out there are probably feeling a bit of a empathetic surge coming from somewhere on this ship.
Wow, that's. Why do I feel like I'm home?
Because you are moonshine.
Hello?
This is where we realize the intercoms are two ways, and we've actually been pressing it the whole time we had this conversation.
Somebody's sitting on the button.
Damn it, listener, get off that button.
No, I understand. I am the only son of a family who my father is rather high up in the order of objective representation. My father is well known, and I did not live up to him.
Feel
The
that
reason
too.
I was sent to the Becklorite to the Benevolist to learn to make the hard decisions. I always had a problem with. But hopefully, I know I am helping people. In fact, even now, I am working on things that, honestly, I don't know if it's ever been done, some of the things that have come to my mind lately.
Well, in my eyes, you are Wilhelm, you're making your own legacy away from your father, and it is so much more than anything, anyone. This is so much bigger than all of us. This is bigger than Cairne, and you're playing such an important role in history right now, Wilhelm. History will look on you fondly.
Thank you. I live to help. And I believe that I have these ideas for these things. The gel that keeps people from burning. By mixing this and that, I can hold off the flame. Imagine that. Just by putting it on, you can withstand the flames.
Ooh.
Sounds like a noble ideal, mate.
And Saoirse's leaning in, interested.
Yes, this produces dreams. This mixed with this makes someone fall asleep. I don't have the exact amounts. What if instead of hurting people, just put them to sleep?
You would definitely, I mean, if they're asleep, it definitely makes it easier killing them, that's for sure.
No.
Or, you know, just letting them sleep it off. Or, you know, one of the two.
If they're asleep, we do not need to harm them. Because our enemies need not be our enemies. That makes sense. Even if they are, they're still living. No reason to harm them. And then I've got this, and it's an almost completed machinery. It actually neutralizes acid.
Do you see it?
Ooh.
Where?
He's been busy.
Think of this. Think of what the water did.
This could neutralize the water in small doses.
I mean, you need a lot of it, right?
Well, if
It could have saved Sugnap.
It's fascinating that might be an inspiration for you to create that too, after all this time.
well, we're sort of like down underneath the water now, so
Yeah.
He keeps track of everything. And he knows his failures well. Does not appreciate them.
It's an interesting drive that you would create that after all this time for Sugnak even, who was, and this isn't of course knocking the player, because we all love Daryl even though he's a goober. But Sugnak was probably the least liked character of any of my games ever.
everyone is just too nice to say it, or at least too nervous and scared.
But yeah, I mean, Wilhelm would be the one that cares enough to go to that length.
Benevolent first and foremost.
Yeah. Once again, a true, I guess, knock to his core there. So, well, Kaz, and you being kind of new to the group, Wilhelm's drive and adherence to his moral code has probably impressed you on more than one occasion. But
oh yeah,
as time goes on, you are probably starting to see, like, even you, like, you know, the Flavinians aren't big fans of the Bechlerites either, generally.
yeah.
But you seeing this, it's enough to probably make you at least consider, like, well, you know, the individual is greater than the sum of its parts. You know, you're not the land you came from.
Probably, especially after Saoirse's little speech.
Yeah, that would have been a big deal.
Oh yeah. He's he sees a lot of good in Wilhelm and kind of wants to help, you know, because he could see Wilhelm has gone through a fair bit of grief and he understands that.
I wish Schlosser would have been there to see it. So, real quick, I do have to say, listener,
yo,
as you're rounding the corner, your light has illuminated something.
You tell.
It is an enormous segment of bone laying across the ocean bed, or the cave bed there. Segmented bone. You can probably see it there. That
yes,
is
I can.
Enormous segmented bone.
I hate to do this, but is this the place to call it?
I think so.
It's fine with me. We are hitting that time, and before we get too deep. So yeah, no, that's perfectly all right. No harm at all. We are at time. I know people are probably starting to get tired. So I will say, ladies and gentlemen, this has been, for me, I will say it's been an excellent session. Yeah, you guys have gone above and beyond as role players, all of you. I know that I honestly, I've barely had to do anything tonight. I made the setting and the backdrop, and I have events that happen here and there, but you guys have really driven the story tonight, which is a credit to all of you as players and role players. So thank you, all of you. That's why you're one of my favorite groups of all time, definitely. And I mean that for all of you. And I really look forward to picking this up in a couple weeks too. I hope the the split is going okay. Listener, I hope you're not chuffed with controlling the Orty. You're doing an amazing job.
Oh, I'm all good with it here. It feels like a very listener task, nice and peaceful, and just patient.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, and there's a lot of stuff down here. What you find is, of course, up to how much you explore, and how willing you are to engage in the dangers that are down here. But yeah, no, I think it's interesting. I know watching how it looks on the stream is interesting as well. I hope the viewers appreciate the unfolding drama that they're getting to watch from what you guys are doing, because I'm absolutely loving it. But yeah, for those of you watching, thank you very much for joining us. It's been a pleasure. We hope to see you in a couple weeks. Of course, we're back to Sigil next week. And don't forget, Star Wars this Friday.
Yes.
And we will see you then. Thank you, and good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.